How to create a design like this in Affinity Photo. All kinds of grids can be created very easily in Affinity Photo. So let's just remove this pattern, then go over here. And with this rectangle, just select the rectangle tool. And of course you can create a rectangle, but you can also create a square just by holding down the shift. So create something like that. You'll notice here, I've got the fill set to nothing. Also I'm going for 6 point, but click here and make certain you go with this option, align line stroke to outside. So go with this one. With that, you could of course modify it further, maybe go for some dash styles as well. That creates some interesting designs. Or maybe use pressure as well to create some interesting designs for your grid. Well, once you've done that, you can now apply effects to it. You can go to Filters, go to Blur and Gaussian Blur. And you've got that. Click Apply. Now you'll notice what's happened. It's turned into a pixel layer. And then you can go to Layer and down to New Pattern Layer from Selection. And you can see you can create an effect like that. Now it's not exactly what I want, but I wanted to show you you can do it in different ways. Well, what you can also do, exactly the same as I'm going to show you a bit later, you can just duplicate this holding down the Alt or Option key and duplicate these designs. So you can create some very unusual pattern designs. So let's just undo that. What I want to do is I'm going to turn this into a pattern before I actually apply that filter. So with this, I can go to Layer and I can go down to Rasterize. So rasterize it, needs to be rasterized. Then I can go to Layer and down here to New Pattern Layer from Selection. And now you can see you've got that design. Now I'm going to remove this one. Don't need that anymore. So just delete it. Unfortunately, for some weird reason, I do not know, there is, sorry, I've got a cold at the moment. There's a very thin line. Now with this thin line, I haven't worked any way to remove that. Slightly odd feature, but that's what seems to happen with these patterns. Now you can resize it, make it fairly small. With that, you can then go and apply a filter. So you could go to Filters, go to Blur and Gaussian Blur, and you can apply it like that. And you can see you can get a design like that. Now you could do it, of course, later as well. If you've rasterized the whole pattern into one complete layer, then applied blur, I don't think it creates such a nice effect. I think this creates nice sort of depth to each of these squares. Click Apply. And I'm going for 16, so click Apply. And with this, now I've got this design. Now I can still modify, so I can resize it, so you can create something like a thin line design like that. You can also rotate it. Also, what you can do, hold down the Alt or Option key, and you can duplicate that design. And you can then build up and create all kinds of unusual blurry grids very quickly. And at any point, you can always select all of those, and then you can turn them all into a single layer. So Layer, and go down here to Merge Selected. Now they're all still a pattern, so at this point you can still resize this, move this around, rotate it, do all various other things. Also what you can do is you can apply other effects. You can always go to Filters, maybe Distort, and Mesh Warp. So Mesh Warp, you can just resize that, move it around, just to create all kinds of different designs that way. Or Cancel. What you can do, let's just select that. You can always go to Filters and Distort and maybe Deform. You might like also to go for Mirror, so just set Mirror on, Filters, Distort and Deform, and then distort it. And that can create some very interesting designs as well. Now, probably best Similarity. So go for Similarity, and you can see then you can move that around with all these different pins and click Apply. Or, let's just go back to that design, and I'm going to rotate that around, put it like that. You can always hold down the Alt or Option key again and just duplicate it again. So create another design. And you can see you can create some interesting designs that way. Another option, especially if you're using 2.3, with the Move tool selected, press Return or Enter on the keyboard, and this panel will pop up. And then you can just go here, duplicates. Maybe not too many, but a couple, so 2 or 3, and you can see you can make it very dark. But also you can go here to rotation. And as you do that, you can see that creates some nicer. Now you don't want to push the rotation too much. maybe 7 or 8, depending on the number of copies. And you can see, obviously, the more you put, it's obviously going to be less you can see. Also, another option, you can always put that to 0 and then scale. And you can see you can create a lovely zoom effect with that design as well. Another option, let's go for the final one. That's probably obviously a lot more. You can always go for horizontal, and you can see you can change that, and you can see move it back and forth, or maybe go vertical as well to create interesting grids that way. And click OK, or just undo. Well, with that, you can also, if you want, of course, you don't have to apply a black line for the grid. You could always, of course, gone for an original rectangle in blues and greens. Maybe use a gradient in that. That's another option to create a more colourful design than this. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. A like or dislike, always appreciated. Bye.